Somewhere beneath the ice of the Southern Ocean, there's a fish with no blood. Well, not exactly. It has blood, but it's completely clear, like water running through its veins. The Antarctic Icefish is the only vertebrate on Earth that has abandoned hemoglobin entirely. No red blood cells, no oxygen-carrying pigment. If you cut one open, you wouldn't see red. You'd see something closer to antifreeze. And that's not a metaphor. There is literally antifreeze flowing through this animal. So how does a fish survive without the one molecule that every other vertebrate on the planet depends on? And why should you care if it disappears? Because it turns out this strange, ghostly creature is holding together one of the most important ecosystems on the planet, and it's running out of time. To understand the icefish, you have to understand where it lives. The waters surrounding Antarctica hover right around -1.9 degrees Celsius. That's below the freezing point of normal blood. Any regular fish dropped into these waters would freeze solid from the inside out within minutes. But about 22 million years ago, something happened. A group of fish living in these cooling waters lost the gene responsible for producing hemoglobin. In any other environment, that mutation would have been a death sentence. No hemoglobin means drastically reduced oxygen transport. It's the biological equivalent of losing a lung. But Antarctica's freezing water is packed with dissolved oxygen. So instead of dying, these fish adapted. They grew massive hearts, about 4 times larger than their red-blooded relatives. They developed enlarged gills and scaleless skin that could absorb oxygen directly from the water around them. And most remarkably, they evolved antifreeze glycoproteins that bind to ice crystals inside their bodies and stop them from growing. The result is an animal that looks like it was designed for another planet. Translucent skin, white blood, a cardiovascular system unlike anything else alive. But here's where it gets complicated. Those same antifreeze proteins that keep the icefish from freezing, researchers at the University of Illinois discovered they also prevent internal ice from melting. Even when temperatures warm up, the ice crystals inside the fish stay locked in place. Over a lifetime, these crystals could accumulate, potentially clogging capillaries and triggering inflammation. The very adaptation that saved them millions of years ago may now be working against them, and that matters because the icefish isn't some rare curiosity hiding in a deep-sea trench. Icefish and their close relatives make up over 90% of the fish biomass on the Antarctic continental shelf. They are the foundation of the Southern Ocean food web. Penguins eat them, seals eat them. Whales depend on ecosystems that depend on them. Remove the icefish and you don't just lose a species, you lose the base of an entire food chain. In February 2021, researchers aboard the German icebreaker Polarstern were surveying the floor of the Weddell Sea when their cameras captured something nobody expected. Stretching across 240 square kilometers of seafloor, roughly twice the size of San Francisco, was a breeding colony of 60 million active icefish nests. Each nest was guarded by a single adult protecting around 1,700 eggs. It was the largest fish breeding colony ever recorded on Earth. Before this discovery, the biggest known icefish nesting site had about 60 nests. This one had 60 million. But the discovery came with a warning. These fish evolved for one environment and only one environment. They cannot regulate their body temperature. They cannot increase their oxygen-carrying capacity. They cannot migrate to colder waters because they already live in the coldest waters on the planet. Research from the University of Leeds found that even modest temperature increases of a few degrees would severely impair the icefish's ability to swim, feed, and reproduce. They can handle brief exposure to warmer conditions, but long-term warming would likely push them toward extinction. And here's what makes this so urgent. The waters around the Antarctic Peninsula are warming faster than almost anywhere in the southern hemisphere. The same ice shelves that protect these breeding grounds are retreating. The conditions that allowed the icefish to thrive for 22 million years are changing within decades. Scientists are now studying icefish antifreeze proteins for potential breakthroughs in human medicine, from organ preservation during transplants to understanding blood disorders like anemia. But that research depends on having living populations to study. We didn't build the icefish. We can't rebuild it if it's gone, and the ecosystem it supports won't wait for us to figure that out. If you want to see another species that evolution pushed to the edge of survival, that video is on screen now. Subscribe for more.